House battle in Chicago 8 years before. Everyone stunned by the fury of Lewis's attack.
What's happening, my people? It's Cass Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. Now, as usual, before I get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people who just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to have a podcast. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT. Donnie Williams. Salute, Donnie. Salute to everyone. And welcome to another episode of Cass Sports, The Box Storian. Today, boxing in the States, Montana. And you know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's The Box Storian bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. How's everyone today? This is the Thursday afternoon edition of Cass Sports, The Box Storian. Put right up on another weekend again. Get toward this into this big week of boxing history. Boxing in the States today, Montana. We're going to talk about a brief history in Montana and then some big fights that happened up there. Jack Dempsey had a big fight on the 4th of July, 1923 that bankrupted the town. You know, they overbid it, tried to get this big fight and couldn't come up with the money they bid it in, and a couple of banks went under. We're going to talk about that today. And Gene Fullmer and Joey Giardello had a big fight there. You know how I talk about all these 1950s middleweights as the best decade of middleweights here. Gene Fullmer, Joey Giardello were two of those 1950s middleweights. They had a battle up there in Montana. And then Marvin Camel, remember the first cruiserweight champion ever? He's from Montana. You know, we got a couple boxers when we get to the boxers from Montana. But that's what we're doing today. And we close to the weekend and some more fights. Yep. They put football on Thanksgiving. Why don't they put some boxing on Thanksgiving? You know. But yeah, we're going to get started about 2:30. But we're going to talk about some boxing history before 2:30 today. I got some brief boxing events that happened. We're going to, a bunch of them. We're going to start them today, and then we're just going to continue them each day while we're waiting on 2:30. Or at the end, when we get to the end of the show and the subject is over, we're going to go over this little historical events that happened in boxing. But happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Anybody traveling, hope you got to your destination safely and then get back home safely. Enjoy your family. That's what it's all about. Family, friends, grandkids. A nice meal. I haven't ate mine yet. I ate a bowl of some potatoes and string beans. Ooh, Miss Katz put her foot in them, man. I was getting ready to get me a plate, but I said I can't be smacking in my people's ears. So I'm going to wait till 4 o'clock. But yeah, the house is smelling good. My mother used to say, stinking good. But yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Yeah, Donnie said it's a lot of flowers. A lot of fighters deserve their flowers. No doubt, Donnie. Yeah, a whole bunch of them, man. Because they get in there and put it on the line, man. You know, fighters have died in that ring. And, you know, it takes a special person to go up them steps and go between those ropes, man. That's why you never hear me call a boxer trash. I might call some of them C-level or lower level than others, but not trash, you know. Go up them steps and go between them ropes. You got my respect, man, because I've never did it. So, yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Donnie. Can't be smacking. But I am hungry. I just got hungry about 5 minutes to 2, man. Yeah. But then, you know, we getting ready. Miss Cass already threw down on the plate. I'm going to get mine in about 2 hours. But yeah, we're going to talk about Montana today. We're going through the states. We're on the second half now, going downhill. Oh, was halfway. Louisiana was halfway. And when we get finished with the boxing in the states, we're going to go around boxing around the world and look at the countries, a little history in the countries, some boxers from different countries around the world. Yeah, Thursday, we're going to continue it. Okay. But let's look at some little boxing history while we're waiting on 2:30. I always wait for 2:30 for some more people to get in. You know, football is on. I was wondering why ain't boxing on, you know? Bob Father and Oscar and Eddie Hearn put some fights on Thanksgiving, you know? But we got a big one Saturday, this Sonny Edwards. I think it's fine. Next weekend is the big one though, yeah. We talk about it all week. The rematch, 2 rematches. Yeah, we got Oscar Valdez and Navarrete rematch, and then we got the Robeisy and Espinoza on that same card, right? Then the other card is Liam Paro and Jaleel Hackett. So yeah, 2 good cards next weekend. This week, well, 1 this weekend, 2 next weekend, right? Yeah. So we can look forward to that. And we got our guy, Define Arnie One, a JBT representative down in Puerto Rico, where the Paro and Hackett card is going to be giving us some fight week interviews and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, we got that to look forward to. Defiant Arnie. He lives 30 minutes away from the Roberto Clemente Coliseum, where this card is going to be. And he said his mom lives 10 minutes away. So, yeah, he's going to bring us some good stuff, no doubt. Yeah, we got a representative down there in Puerto Rico covering the fights for us. Yeah, the JBT is worldwide, man. Worldwide, okay? And where is everybody? And ate that big plate and fell asleep. What's up? Told him I was coming on today, with this YouTube holiday, whatever. It don't matter. You can do it for me. I'm sitting in my bedroom, man. So, you don't have to take off holidays when you're doing this stuff. You know what I mean? But anyway, we're going to look at some little boxing history before we get started, okay? Now, on January 6th, 1681 now, the first recorded boxing match is engineered by Christopher Monk, 2nd Duke of Albemarle. He had a fight between his butler and his butcher, right? His butcher won. Not knowing nothing about either one of those guys, if I had to bet, I would bet on the butcher. He seemed like the tougher guy. You bet between the butler and the butcher? Yeah, I'm betting on the butcher, right? And the butcher won it. And then May 6th, 1733, the first international boxing match, local fighter Bob Whitaker beats the Venetian gondolier Tito Di Carni at James Figg's Academy Amphitheater in Marylebone, London. Right? On August 16th, 1743, champion of England title holder Jack Broughton publishes Rules of the Ring. That's the earliest known boxing code. 1743. Rules of the Ring by Jack Broughton. Wow, that was back then. April 11th, 1750. Jack Slack retains champion of England boxing title. He beats Frenchman John Petit in 7 rounds in Halston, England. Acknowledged as the first international prize fight. Yeah, first international prize fight, 1750. Wow. On July 29th, that's something about something similar to that. On December 10th, 1810, English bare knuckle boxer Tom Craig beats African-American Tom Molyneux in the 33rd of 40 rounds. This fight was at Copthall Common in England. It was the first interracial boxing match. First interracial boxing match, 1810. Wow. Okay. And then October 8th, 1818, Jack Broughton designed padded gloves, first used in a competitive boxing match between 2 unnamed English boxers at Aix La Chapelle in France. 1818, first known use of padded gloves. Yep. September 9th, 1841, Tom Hyer beats George McChester in 101 rounds at Cardwell's Landing, New York, to become the first American heavyweight boxing champion. 1841, the first American heavyweight boxing champion in a 101 round fight. Wow. On October 12th, 1853, John Morrissey wins the boxing title when Yankee Sullivan leaves the ring after the 36th round to slug it out with some of Morrissey's fans. He got disqualified. I guess the fans were getting on him so bad he went out there to slug it out with them. But back around that time, sometimes the fans would jump in the ring and join in the fight. Yeah. So Morrissey got out of the ring and went out there to fight the fans in the audience and got disqualified. Isn't that something? April 17th, 1860. The champion of England, Tom Sayers, and American John Heenan fight out a brutal 2-hour, 27-minute draw near Farnborough, England. And the police stopped the fight, right? And that was acknowledged as the first world title bout. The police stopped it, so they called it a draw. After 2 hours and 27 minutes, somebody went and got the police on them. Wow. On May the 5th, 1863, Irish boxer Joe Colburn knocks out American Mike McCool in the 67th round in his first defense of heavyweight championship of America in Charlestown, Maryland. Charlestown, Maryland. On January 2nd, 1865, second day of the new year, 1865, welterweight Con Oram and heavyweight Hugh O'Neill brawl for 185 rounds before darkness ends the legendary bare knuckle boxing match in Virginia City, Montana. They fought for 185 rounds. They had to stop because it got dark on them. Wow, 185 rounds. September 23rd, 1873, Tom Allen beats Mike McHale for the heavyweight boxing title. Then a couple years later, March the 16th, 1876, Nellie Saunders and Rose Harlan fight the first female boxing match in New York. 1876, the first known female boxing match. Wow. July 30th, 1884, Jack Dempsey, not the same Jack Dempsey that became famous we're going to talk about today in Montana. This Jack Dempsey fights George Full James in possibly the first middleweight fight with boxing gloves. 1884. August the 29th, 1885, boxing's first heavyweight title fight with 3-ounce gloves and 3-minute rounds fought between American boxers John L. Sullivan and Dominic McCaffrey in Cincinnati, Ohio. Wow, 3-ounce gloves. Damn. Really might as well not even had none on, right? 3 ounces. Wow. But that was in 1885. Very interesting. Okay. March 10th, 1888. Heavyweight boxing champion John L. Sullivan draws with Charlie Mitchell in 30 rounds. 30 rounds. That was ordinary back then. Thomas Hill. What's up, T. Hill? We just going over a little boxing history while we waiting on 2:30. But happy Thanksgiving, T. Hill. Yeah. Just highlighting some of the history of boxing. And this is going to be a continuous thing because I got a lot of them. So we're going to do this each day. Crush the Legend. What's up, Crush? Hey, Crush, man, I sent you I think I saw that episode, man. I didn't know that was you. When you was talking about it this morning, I was a voyeur. I didn't know you was a professional dancer, but I really believe I saw that episode. Yeah. The Crush was on a center your wall, man. We got a famous person in our midst. Crush the Legend. Salute, Crush. And Thomas Hill in the building. Yeah. Yeah, Crush, I really think I saw that episode. Yeah, we just going over some fights, some history right now. We're going to do boxing in the States, Montana at 2:30. Now, where? Oh, yeah. John L. Sullivan had a 30-round draw with Charlie Mitchell in 1888. Then on December 22nd, 1888, a couple days before Christmas, heavyweight boxing champion John L. Sullivan challenges Jake Kilrain. Yeah, I think that was a 75-round fight. He was just challenging him then. On February 2nd, 1892, the longest boxing match under modern rules, 77 rounds in Namiaki, Illinois, between Harry Sharp and Frank Crosby. Now, I know of one they went 110 rounds, but maybe it wasn't under modern rules. They say the longest one under modern rules was 77 rounds. But there was one for 110 rounds. I think it was after 1892. Okay. Now, September 7th, 1892, James Corbett knocks out 4-1 favorite and defending champion John L. Sullivan in 21 rounds at the Olympic Club in New Orleans, Louisiana for the World Heavyweight Boxing title. It was Sullivan's only defeat of his career, and it was the final fight of his career. Yeah. Sullivan took his first L and retired. Define Arnie 1 in the building. What's up, you fine anyone? Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I guess anybody traveling, hope you got to your destination safely and get back home safely. And enjoy your turkey and your ham or whatever you're eating for Thanksgiving. You find on, he says, I'm here at the family Thanksgiving meal, surrounded by family. People who know as much about boxing as I do about quantum physics. You know, yeah. Everybody's not degenerates like we are, defined on it one year. But salute, happy Thanksgiving. Tell your family hello and enjoy your family. Okay? Ain't nothing like family. Okay? If you ain't got your family in your corner, you don't have anything, man. You know, you lose family, you done lost. You know, that's the bottom line. Now, Corbett versus Mitchell. January 25th, 1894. In his only successful title defense, James J. Corbett knocks out English champion Charlie Mitchell in 3 rounds at the Duval Athletic Club, Jacksonville, Florida, for the World Heavyweight Boxing title. Because remember, Corbett took it from Sullivan and said that was his only title defense. Wow, he made 1 title defense. Okay. Yeah, we're going to stop this in like 5 minutes, and we're going to continue this each day, right? While we're waiting for 2:30. Now, this is the first boxing match film, September 8th, 1894. Employed by Thomas Edison himself, William K. L. Dixon films first boxing match at West Orange, New Jersey, an exhibition between world heavyweight champion James J. Corbett and Peter Courtney. Wow. First boxing match filmed, 1894. Wow. They had filmed one of those still films, you know. Yeah. Wow. And he was working for Thomas Edison himself. What did Thomas Edison invent? The light bulb or something? November 3rd, 1899. World heavyweight boxing champion James J. Jeffries retains the title. He beats Irishman Tom Sharkey on points. And yeah, this is the one I was talking about. No, that's not the one. I'm thinking about 75. But Jeffries beat Sharkey in 25 rounds at Coney Island Athletic Club in Brooklyn, New York City. A couple more, then we're going to stop and get ready for today's show. 2 more. April 6, 1900. James J. Jeffries knocks out Jack Finnegan in 1 round for the heavyweight boxing title. I should have stopped right at 1900. Yeah, I'm going to stop 2 in the 1900. May 11th, 1900. James J. Jeffries knocks out James J. Corbett in 23 rounds for the heavyweight boxing title. While James J. Jeffries was knocking him out. Yeah, next one is 1901, so we'll stop there. We'll continue this every day as we waiting, you know, to get started with the show. Go over a little boxing history. Let me write that down. November 15th, 1901 is where we'll start. Tomorrow, okay? So we're going to be talking about Montana today. This is our 296th show. We hit 300 next Wednesday. Okay. We hit 300 shows next Wednesday. Yep. And don't forget the raffle we got coming up. Half and half. Whatever the JBT organization takes in. The winner of the raffle gets half. $5 will get you 1 chance. $20 will get you 5 chances. And remember, last time we had 3 prizes, and it was 1 chance for $10, 3 for $25. And we had a gentleman had got 3 for $25 7 times. He had 21 chances, and he won 2 out of the first and second place prizes. So the 5 for 20 is probably the way to go. If I could get it, I would go for the 5 for 20. You know, get about 10 of them. At least get 1 5 for 20, you know. But $5 will get you in. Right now, it's sitting at about $200. So right now, $5 will get you almost $100. Okay, and we got an entire month to go, December 21st. The drawing is on the day of the big heavyweight rematch, Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk. Okay, that's the drawing on that day. And yeah, we spin the wheel. We don't do it the old-fashioned way, put the names in the hat anymore. Got a wheel that's spent. Yeah. And I don't know, had no idea about how that thing works. I'll just be watching. Big Supreme, salute Big Supreme. And Mike Graham in the building. Salute, happy Thanksgiving, gentlemen. We're going to be talking about Montana today. We're getting ready to get started right now. We just went over a little boxing history. We're going to go over a little brief boxing history, different dates each day. Yep. Hope everybody's Thanksgiving is going good. Appreciate you stopping by CAS Sports for a little part of your Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for my loyal supporters. Yeah. And we hit 300 shows next Wednesday. 300th episode. I think I got 6 subscribers this week. Things are picking up. Maybe I hit 1,000 next year. But how's everybody today? Ready for the what we got? Sunny Edwards this weekend. What is Goliath Phi or your Phi Goliath? Goliath Phi? Something like that. It's fighting this weekend. Yeah. And the big ones, two big ones next weekend. 2 rematches on the same card, Navarrete and Valdez and Robeisy and Espinosa is the co-main, and then the same weekend, Liam Paro and Jaleel Hackett. No, Richards and Hitchens. Jaleel Hackett is on the card, but yeah, Liam Paro, Jaleel Hackett, down in Puerto Rico. And our man down there, Define Arnie One from the JBT, is going to be covering the fight week festivities. Going to be at the fight covering Zane's Force. Yeah, the JBT is everywhere. Ed McQueen in the building. What's up, Ed McQueen? If it's a fight around the JBT, it's going to be in the building. Okay. So yeah, Define Arnie going to be bringing us some good stuff from the Liam Paro, Richards and Hitchens call. Who y'all got on that one? I don't know. I think Hitchison will probably have to get a decision if he wins. But it'll be by decision. But we'll see. It's next weekend, so we don't have long to wait. Salute Ed McQueen. Appreciate you, Ed. Yeah. Appreciate everybody on this Thanksgiving. Got some football on. I was saying, why don't they put boxing on Thanksgiving? Come on, Bob Father and Oscar and Eddie Hearn. What's the guy name over in Saudi Arabia? Turkey Al-Sheikh. Come on, man. Just give us some boxing on Thanksgiving to watch. They could have put that Sonny Edwards card on tonight. But it's all good. It's probably boxing somewhere. Ed knows about it. It's a card somewhere tonight. I guarantee you that. Yeah. Well, let's get ready to get started. Boxing in the States, Montana. We're going to talk about a couple fights and that big one with Jack Dempsey. They bankrupted the town, July 4th, 1923. The town kind of overbid it to get the fight, right? And then they couldn't come up with the money that they bid it, right? It was crazy. A couple banks went under in the town. Yeah. Bankrupted an entire town, July 4th, 1923. It was crazy. Yeah. They wanted to fight so bad. What's that saying? I forgot how it goes, but it pertains to them. They bid $300,000, in 1923. That's a lot, right? But they didn't have it. Then you have $100,000. But they outbid everybody else, and got the fight. Jack Dempsey, of all people. He was heavyweight champion in 1923. One of the most popular boxers ever. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get to it. But first, let's cover this. Let's go with today's show. Okay? Now, it has been some time since boxing was the country's most popular sport, and boxers were its most admired athletes. When little boys wanted to grow up to be boxers and plastered scrapbooks with images from the Ring magazine and their fathers spent what little throwaway cash they had to watch fights in confined, smoke-laden neighborhood arenas and vast outdoor stadiums. Now, boxing in Montana has deep roots, and the first reported announcement of a Montana prize fight was on August 27, 1864, when the newly established Montana Post, the first newspaper in the territory, chronicled a fight between a pair of hardy Irishmen. Stanley Ketchel, right? He was one of them. Yes, Stanley. Stanley Ketchel, considered by several boxing historians to be the best fighter in the history of the middleweight division. He lived in Butte, Montana as a teenager. In the early 1900s, he worked as a hotel bellhop and a bouncer before participating in backroom boxing matches with local toughs. Soon, Ketchel was traveling throughout Montana, taking on all comers. And most of the public's knowledge of Montana boxing stems from Jack Dempsey's fight with Tommy Gibbons. This was when I was talking about, right? The bankrupted the town. But that's what most people knowledge of Montana is, the Jack Dempsey fight with Tommy Gibbons. Now, both men faced off in the obscure boom town of Shelby, Montana, for the 15-round World Heavyweight Championship fight that took place on July 4th, 1923. And we're going to cover that more later, right? And now in the 1970s, there was Marvin Campbell, the half-black, half-Indian kid who grew up on a Montana reservation and fixed electronic pinball machines. And he was the first ever cruiserweight champion of the world. Yeah, we're going to cover him more in depth later too. First ever cruiserweight champion, Marvin Campbell, right? And if boxing is to ever match those glory days and golden eras in the state of Montana, or even elsewhere, it would need the skill of a good promoter like Shelley Burton. Montana promoter, Shelley Burton, right? And she was also a fighter. And the will of a journeyman fighter such as Jesse Erd. Now, Erd says, I've loved boxing my entire life. He's a fifth generation Montanan whose father, Scott, was an amateur boxer. He said boxing is a natural love for him, right? And one of the recent chapters in state boxing history was Shelley Burton. She turned pro in 2003. And by 2006, she was 8 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. And she earned the fight with Layla Ali, remember, Muhammad's daughter, on November 11th, 2006 in Madison Square Garden, New York City. Ali was the WIBF and WBC super middleweight champion. And she landed a volley of punches that ended the fight with 2 seconds left in the 4th round, right? And Ali went on to, that was her 23rd, next to her last fight, because she ended up 24-0. That fight made her 23-0. And Shelley Burton hung up the gloves after that fight, shortly after that, right? And in the summer of 2011, at the age of 35 and back in Kalispell, Montana, she quit her job to become a licensed promoter, right? She opened up a Burton Boxing Promotions as a place for and a gym as a place for anybody to come and learn the brass tacks of the sweet science. Yeah. And what she was trying to do, she was trying to provide fighters such as with the opportunity to participate in sanctioned professional fights with some extra money. And if the trajectory was right, go on to greater platitudes. Because she said it was hard at that time for anyone in Montana to get a debut fight. You know, you had to go fight on another card in another state. And she opened her company so that fighters would have that opportunity to fight right there at home in Montana. Shelley Burton. Okay. So now let's talk about Jack Dempsey in this big fight he had that bankrupted the town. Okay. Yeah. And bear with me, that's kind of long. We're going to work our way through it. Yeah. The fight bankrupted the entire town. Jack Dempsey, I think it was Tommy Gibbons. Arturo Gatti, Big Supreme, yeah. Yeah, he was a dog, Arturo Gatti. Him and Mickey Ward, man, those fights. And I forgot which one of them said it, but they was after the third fight, they was like, now I know what it's like to fight my twin. You know, Gatti and Ward. I forgot which one said it, but yeah. They battled it on out, man. Could be definitely one of the best trilogies of all time. Yeah. Now, 4th of July fight fiasco. How Jack Dempsey title fight KO'd a tiny Missouri town's finances. Yep, the fight bankrupted the town. Most certainly did. There you go. Now, if you go to Montana looking for the spot where Jack Dempsey defended the world heavyweight title against Tommy Gibbons in a fight that brought financial ruin upon an entire town on July 4th, 1923, the directions are simple. Just head north on I-15, keep going until the signs start listing the mileage to various cities in Canada, then exit in Shelby, Montana, and follow Main Street along the railroad tracks. You can't miss it. There behind the Pizza Hut, you'll see Champions Park with the metal silhouette of two boxers facing off in the middle. That's supposed to be them, Dempsey and Gibbons. On one side stands one of the most famous athletes of the 1920s, Jack Dempsey, a man who would have to literally run out of town by the time the fight was over. Yeah, Jack Dempsey had to get low. You know, people was mad, man. Yeah, because they didn't have the money to pay for the fight. The attendance was crazy. Yeah, so he literally had to run out of town by the time the fight was over. Now on the other side stands Tommy Gibbons, a guy who was only promised enough to cover his training expenses in a clash for the heavyweight title. Yeah. Yeah, the bulk of the money was promised to Dempsey, of course. He was a heavyweight champion. One of the big five, but one of the most popular athletes, period. Not just boxers. Period. Dempsey on the left, Gibbons on the right, okay? Now, this park marks the spot where a hastily built arena once stood. The plaques surrounding the two metallic figures tell a story, from the setup to the con, of how the 4th of July fight resulted in one of the worst economic disasters in boxing history. It started almost as a joke, right? In the early 1920s. You know, it had oil strikes around this region of central Montana. It had made the locals overly optimistic about boom times to come. And a wildcatter named Gordon Campbell, he struck, excuse me for a minute. 1 minute. I'll be right back. I'm sorry. 2 minutes. Okay, I'm back. All right, sorry about that. I'm back. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. Okay, now where were we? Let's continue. Let's continue. We found out where we was at. I gotta get the chat back up now. There we go. Okay. Now, it started almost as a joke. A wildcatter named George Campbell struck oil with the Discovery well in 1922. And soon people began hailing Montana's Toole County as the Tulsa of the West. Now, those people were mostly the ones already living in Toole County, with their eyes full of dollar signs at the thought of everything the oil business might soon bring their way. Now, that oil brought an influx of people to Shelby, the county seat, and oil workers and their families came in waves, and with wages to spend, which translated to opportunity for would-be real estate developer James Bodie Johnson, son of Shelby Mayor James A. Johnson. Okay, now, to the younger Johnson, the combination of Shelby's nascent oil industry and its location along the railroad line made the town a prime candidate for rapid, profitable growth. All it needed was some positive press to nudge things forward. So when Johnson read a newspaper story about the city of Montreal offering $100,000 in a bid to host Dempsey's next heavyweight title defense, he got what he must have thought was a brilliant idea. Johnson wired a message directly to Jack Doc Kearns, Dempsey's manager, offering to double Montreal's price in order to bring the fight to Shelby. Right? So Montreal was offering $100,000. There's Dempsey and his manager, Jack Kearns, there on the right. So he doubled it to bring the fight to Shelby. So Johnson didn't know it, but from the moment he reached out to Doc Kearns, he was in over his head. As he wrote later in a slim volume titled The Fight That Won't Stay Dead, the whole thing was meant to be nothing but a publicity stunt. His hope was that just as Montreal had made newspaper headlines with his six-figure offer, Shelby would get similar press for doubling it. He didn't think there was much danger of Dempsey's manager taking him up on the offer. He was just looking for the publicity. He didn't think they was actually going to take him up on that $200,000, okay? Shelby was a tiny town in north central Montana with one hotel, 2 banks, and 0 arenas or stadiums in which to hold the fight. Who would possibly agree to bring a world heavyweight title fight there? But Johnson didn't fully understand who he was dealing with. Kearns had traveled an interesting and often criminal path en route to getting his hands on boxing's biggest draw, Jack Dempsey. Before he ever met Dempsey, Kearns had already been either accused of or convicted of offenses ranging from fight fixing, forgery, running crooked gambling operations, embezzlement, and all manner of grifting, right? He was even rumored to have kidnapped sled dogs during a stint in Alaska. Later, his mere involvement in some fight sports enterprises was enough to get the venues raided by police. See, so Johnson didn't know anything about this guy he was dealing with, right? So as a manager of various small-time boxers, Kearns developed a routine of discarding one fighter for whomever beat him. Sounds something like Don King. Now, this is how he found Dempsey, who had spent much of his career to that point as essentially a boxing hobo, drifting between various western mining towns and fighting whomever he could for whatever money the locals could scrounge up. Now, a favorite technique of Dempsey was to walk into a saloon and loudly declare, "I can't sing and I can't dance, but I can lick any son of a bitch in the house." Then, if anyone could be found who might disagree, a hat was literally passed until it filled up with enough money to make it worthwhile for the two principals to fight over it. Winner take all, right? Now, one funny story. Jack Dempsey wasn't even Jack Dempsey at first. He was born William Harrison Dempsey in June of 1895 in Manassas, Colorado. Now, his older brother sometimes fought under the name Jack Dempsey, hoping to draw some attention by conjuring people's memories of it was an earlier Jack Dempsey that had fought, right? The earlier Jack Dempsey was an Irish-born middleweight champion of the late 19th century. So Jack Dempsey's brother was using his name, right? But after his brother backed out of a scheduled fight in the Colorado mining town of Cripple Creek, the younger Dempsey stepped in to replace him, fighting under the same name. And this didn't fool people, and the promoter of the fight was displeased. But the skinny kid fighting under the name Jack Dempsey proved out, battering his opponent en route to a referee stoppage, which was uncommon at the time. And in those days, they didn't stop mining town fights as long as one guy could move. Dempsey later recalled in one of several autobiographies. My personal favorite, Dempsey also has the advantage of a fantastic opening line. I am William Harrison Dempsey, a Jack Morrison ex-heavyweight champion of the world, rich in friends, richer in loved ones, comfortable in the world's goods. Now, Dempsey's early career was marked by furious, frequent brawls and predatory managers. More than once, he hopped a train in the town, earned a small pile of money with his fists, then woke up the next morning to find that his manager had taken that pile and hopped the train elsewhere without him. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Tim Layton, hashtag JBT in the building. Montana today, Tim, we talking about the fight that bankrupted the town. Jack Dempsey and I forgot the other guy's name. So let's move on. Now, Now, Kearns, he was far from an honest manager, but at least Dempsey's career prospects improved in his care, when Kearns took over. Now, Dempsey had essentially been run out of Utah after a first-round knockout loss to fireman Jim Flynn resulted in accusations of a fix. Dempsey always denied this, at times suggesting instead that the suspiciously early knockout was the result of Flynn clocking him when he went to touch gloves at the start of the fight. Now, about 40 fights and a little over 2 years later, Dempsey became the heavyweight champion after beating Jess Willard on July 4th, 1919. Okay? That's when he became the champion. Now, it's those championship years from 1919 to 1926 that people remember best about Dempsey's career, but they comprised a relatively small slice of it. He fought fewer than 10 fights after becoming champion, compared with at least 75 fights leading up to it. But with help from Kearns and New York-based promoter Tex Rickard, here's old Tex, he became a legitimate sports superstar in the Roaring 20s, one of the nation's few instantly recognizable sports figures, more popular than Babe Ruth, Red Grange, all of them in the 20s. Now, the idea of bidding for the fight to host a Dempsey fight began to seem like a good idea after his 1921 title defense against Francis George Carpenter, right? He likely nicknamed the Orchard Man. This fight was in Jersey City, New Jersey, and it broke records with boxing's first $1 million gate. Okay, boxing's first $1 million gate. Now, Time magazine later put the live gate total of the fight at $1,789,238, right? And Tex Rickard's cut of this was said to be around $550,000, and that was 1921. So Tex got $550,000, right? which nowadays equivalent to about $9.6 million, right? So that's what he made back then. And for almost the entirety of his title reign, Dempsey was box office gold, right? The first $5 million gates in boxing were all Dempsey fights. No fight eclipsed $1 million in live gate again until Joe Louis versus Max Baer in 1935, almost 20 years later. That was 15. In fact, from Dempsey's fight with Carpenter until his retirement in 1927, only one of his fights brought in under 7 figures. And that fight, of course, happened in Shelby, Montana. Now, the financial ruin of many Montana citizens. Okay, this is what happened to him. Johnson had never really intended to pay $200,000 to bring the fight to Shelby. That's because, for starters, he didn't have the money. When word of his offer began to circulate, Montana Governor Joseph Dixon chided him for it, reportedly saying, "Hell, man, there isn't that much money in the entire state of Montana," right? So the governor got on it for doing that, but he was just doing it for publicity. He never thought that Jack Dempsey and his manager would actually agree to the fight, but they did. But after pitching the idea to several area banks and other investors, Johnson managed to gather the $100,000. This he gave to Laurie Malumbi, a lawyer and World War I pilot, who also served as the commander of the Montana American Legion, which had agreed to sanction the fight. Now, Malumbi traveled to meet with Kearns, Dempsey's manager. And by the time we returned to Shelby, Montana, after supposedly being wined and dined by the famously hard-partying Kearns, the financial commitment to secure the fight had gone up to $300,000. That's the kind of shyster this guy Kearns was. You know, Johnson sent this guy, Malumbi, to meet with Kearns because he got the $100,000 up. By the time the guy came back, Kearns had got it up to getting paid $300,000 by the time. Wow. So now Kearns and Dempsey had agreed to accept the money in 3 installments. But the backers in Shelby struggled mightily to come up with even the second payment. You know, they got the first $100,000. Okay, so now they're struggling to get the second payment. Okay, now with the fight scheduled for July 4th, a deadline of June 15th had been set for payment of the second $100,000. And what was part fundraising tour and part publicity campaign, Johnson hopped in a plane piloted by the former World War I ace Malumbi and flew to American Legion posts all over Montana to boost ticket sales and investment in the fight. And that plan seemed to be working. But while returning from the town of Livingston, Montana, in the southwest part of the state in early June, guess what? The plane crashed. The plane crashed. Johnson and Malumbi were injured, but lucky to escape with their lives, okay? Now, the plane crash stalled the fundraising efforts just prior to the deadline. And Dempsey had already set up his training camp for the fight in the nearby city of Great Falls, about 85 miles south of Shelby. And when the second payment didn't arrive on time, Dempsey began considering alternatives. As he told newspaper reporter Maxwell Stiles years later, he was already having trouble with Jack Kearns and had made up his mind to retire when this fight came up. Now, from the start, Dempsey claimed he didn't believe there could possibly be so much money in a fight held in the middle of Montana. This, he said, was why he insisted on guaranteed payments in advance. Yeah, Dempsey insisted on guaranteed money up front. Now, despite an oil and real estate boom, no second $100,000 was forthcoming when it was due, Dempsey said. So now the promoters brought the American Legion into the thing for a percentage of the profits. So they knew there would not be any profits, and so did I. They had no way of handling the people. The town had only one main street, and housing for the fans was non-existent. So Dempsey reached out to Tex Rickard, the promoter, who had a 10-year lease of Madison Square Garden. Rickard offered to move the fight to the Garden and refund the $100,000 payment to Montana, right? I told these people Ricard's proposition, Dempsey said, and they said no. They should have took the $100,000 back and let the fight go, but they said no. The fight will be in Montana. And then Kearns got tough about then, and they came up with the second $100,000, right? But they still owed another $100,000. But when the third $100,000 came due, they just didn't have any more money. And as the 4th of July grew near, the date of the fight, the missed payments became a bigger story than the fight itself. Kearns told newspaper reporters that the fight was off, and then back on, then off again. Just Do Boxing in the building. What's up, Just Do? Little boxing in Montana today. Talking about this big fight that bankrupted the town. You know, they was doing it as a publicity stunt, offered $100,000 because they saw this other town do the same. But all of a sudden, Dempsey and his manager accepted the fight, and they got the price all the way up to $300,000. Now they came up with $200,000. Now the fight is getting close, and they don't have the third $100,000. So Kearns, Dempsey's manager, was going back and forth. It's off, on, off. Okay. Now the uncertainty of the fight killed the ticket sales, especially since the financial success of the fight was dependent on fight fans traveling from far away to attend an event in a place that had no other forms of entertainment or even reasonable accommodations to offer the fans. So by this point, a lot had already been invested in making that plan feasible. The Great Northern Railroad had laid miles of extra track and booked somewhere in the neighborhood of $500,000 in ticket reservations, right? Over 200 carpenters had worked frantically to build an enormous open-air arena in Shelby, all in less than 2 months. So they had put out, that's why the town went bankrupt, but they spent a lot of money on this thing. Now, as word spread that the fight was in jeopardy, all this work seemed like it might be for nothing. Now, trains had been canceled, and Dempsey said he was blamed for this, right? And he said he was blamed for what contributed to the financial ruin of many Montana citizens. Now, Kearns, on the other hand, the manager, was known to brag for years afterward that he swindled and ruined multiple Montana banks in the process. Remorse never seemed able to find the man. Yep, Kearns bragged about ruining the town. Now, the Montana backers of the fight tried everything they could think of to keep the fight together, including offering to pay a portion of the guarantee in the form of sheep. Now, Dempsey and Kearns grew increasingly angry at how the event was shaping up. And when Dempsey grumbled about it to reporters from his training camp in Great Falls, it did not endear him to fans in Shelby, who came to regard him as a rich, spoiled professional athlete. Now, the enmity was mutual. Yeah, Dempsey felt the same way back about them. He said, I was mad at the Shelby people for having turned down Ricard's offer to get them off the hook. Yeah, Tex Ricard offered to pay them their $100,000 back and move to fight the Madison Square Garden, but they said, no, we still want to have to fight here. Yep. So it was really their own fault. They had a way out. He was getting them off the hook. And they said, no, we still want to have to fight in Shelby. So Dempsey told newspaper reporters later, so Kearns and I demanded the final $100,000. And when it was not forthcoming, Kearns called for the fight off at 2:30 in the morning. After a couple hours, the fight was on again. And we agreed to gamble on the gate by taking in the first money to come in toward our third portion of $300,000. And Dempsey said, when I arrived in Shelby at 10:30 a.m., I was met by a hostile crowd calling me slacker and all sorts of names for my having demanded my money. Yeah, he was right. I don't blame him. They tried to get him off the hook to move the fight or even pay him the money back they had put up. They said no, they still wanted to fight. Now, the slacker accusation was a sore spot for Dempsey. He'd been accused of avoiding military service during World War I while continuing to box professionally. He was later cleared of any wrongdoing after proving that he received a hardship exemption from the U.S. Army. But the slacker claim remained a favorite epithet for Dempsey's detractors, even years later. By contrast, Tommy Gibbons, his opponent, showed up on fight day as something close to a local hero. Now, unlike Dempsey, he opted to set up his training camp in Shelby, which had proven to be a popular move. Locals felt like they'd gotten to know Gibbons over the weeks leading up to the fight. Many of them had watched him train, paying 50 cents a person to view his sparring sessions. Now, outside of the money he received to cover his expenses, it was the only profit Gibbons made from the fight. Didn't even get paid. Now, the arena was built to hold around 40,000 people, and the official paid attendance for the fight was listed at 7,000 tickets sold. Wow. Though the actual number of spectators who saw the fight was estimated to be about 3 times that. This is because as anger at Dempsey and Kearns grew, a crowd that could fairly be described as a mob gathered outside the arena, demanding to be let in. They was demanding to be let in for nothing, right? So they was gathered outside, demanding to be let in. One security guard, apparently overwhelmed by the size of the gathering, but also frustrated at being asked to simply stand aside, is said to have shouted, "If you don't have the guts to rush the gates, then stay the hell out." So this was all the invitation the crowd needed. As Dempsey put it later, according to a local newspaper report, when the report came out that I was going to get the gate money, the Cowboys threw Larry's over the post and pulled the gates down. Thousands of people got in for free. Now, the fight itself was tougher for Dempsey than many expected. He had a year off after the fight with Carpenter and had trouble getting in shape after toying with the idea of retirement following that blockbuster fight with Carpenter. Now, Gibbons stayed with him for all 15 rounds as Dempsey struggled to land a clean blow. Now, nailing him was like trying to thread a needle in a high wind, Dempsey said later. Fans, even the ones who hadn't paid to get in, were disappointed at having sat so long under a burning July sun to see such a lackluster fight. Many accused Dempsey of carrying Gibbons. They'd been promised a heavyweight knockout artist and felt they were getting less than his full effort due to his complaints about the money. But Dempsey got his money. And when Dempsey was announced the winner via decision, empty bottles and other refuse came sailing into the ring. And when it was over, Dempsey said, "I just wanted to get out of town. I ran all the way to the train station, a distance of about 1 mile. And Kearns stuck around in Great Falls slightly longer, hoping to collect the last of my money that might still trickle in." Right? And the mood around him, however, grew uncomfortably hostile. One report claimed that Dempsey and Kearns had only agreed to go on with the fight when Montanans let it be known that they had boxes of a certain size and dimension all fixed up for anyone trying to cross the border with $200,000 for a fight that was never held. Now that the fight had been held, and the dissatisfied local populace began to feel themselves slighted and swindled by the whole affair, Dempsey and Kearns decided that a swift exit from the state with a notable history of frontier vigilantism was in their best interest. Yep. Yeah, they bankrupted the town. And then after the fight, Kearns and Dempsey parted ways a few years later, right? Then they took turns suing each other. At one point, Dempsey claimed Kearns had handled at least $5 million of his earnings, yet always found a way to avoid providing any written accounting of it. Kearns later wrote an autobiography to be published posthumously. In it, he claimed that he helped Dempsey pack his gloves with plaster of Paris to defeat Willard for the title. Yeah, and that wasn't true. He just said that for spite because the Ring Magazine founder, Ned Fleischer, was right there when Dempsey's glove was wrapped, and Kearns wasn't even the one that wrapped his hands that day, so he was lying. You know, he said that like in the 60s, right? And he leveled that accusation at Dempsey at the time, but never proven. Dempsey successfully sued to keep that claim out of the book, but seemed to almost marvel at this twist of the knife from beyond the grave. Yeah, Kearns put that out after he died. Now, the town, I'm trying to get to the part with what happened to the town. A couple banks went under. A lot of people lost a lot of money on that fight. Yeah. The fight that bankrupted an entire town. Jack Dempsey versus Tommy Gibbons. Okay. Now, I was reading what y'all talking about. Now, Knicks, they had a big a war up there. Gene Fullmer and Joey Giardello, two of those great, you know how I always rave about those 50 middleweights. You know, those guys in the middleweights. I think the 50s was the best decade of all for middleweights. And we had two of them had a big fight in Montana. Gene Fullmer and Joey Giardello. Okay, let's talk about that briefly. Gene Fullmer and Joey Giardello. Okay, that was the let me hit with the light off. Chilling. Okay. Yeah, let me get that up for you. There it is. Gene Fullmer, Joey Giardello. A mad night in Montana sports. That was a big fight there. April 20th. Now, in the crimson history of Montana, there have been many bloody massacres, okay? Like Custer's Last Stand and the Battle of Big Hole, when Chief Joseph of the Nez Perce Indians took vigorous umbrage at the white man's refusal to play the game according to rules of fair play. And the National Boxing Association middleweight championship fight between champion Gene Fullmer and Joey Giardello fought at Bozeman, Montana, may be regarded as a cultural renaissance of those good old days. Now, the rules deprived the fighters of scalping knives, but even under such restraint, they drew fresh lists of blood in every round. They butted, heeled, punched low, and snarled at each other. Now, they had Harry Kessler, big-time referee around that time. Now, to see that the fight was conducted with the propriety of a quadrille Montana, with the proper, not many of the rules were broken, but they still was broken. But they had Harry Kessler, referee Harry Kessler from St. Louis. In or out of the ring, Harry Kessler is a bit of a dandy, a millionaire metallurgist with interests that range from Tokyo to North Bergen, New Jersey. Boxing is only his hobby. 5% of U.S. medals are produced with his advice or with the aid of his invention. Now, despite a certain girth, he moves about the ring with the tailored grace of a PhD from Arthur Murray's dance school. He speaks to the fighters softly before and during a fight, admonishing them like the headmaster of a rich boy's prep school. Even so, one may be gouging at an eye with a thumb, and the other lifting a knee in a clinch. Now, the Kessler idea is that if you treat fighters like gentlemen, they will act that way. Now, Fullmer and Giardello collapsed that lovely idea. There they go. Okay, that was a battle. Now, by the middle of the fourth round, Kessler's matching gray-green slacks and shirt smeared with contrasting tones of human blood. He had to call an armistice of a nature unprecedented in title fights. Foreman and Giardello, a pair of clawing wildcats, were held at bay by Kessler's outstretched arms while he preached a few words on common decency. These soft words were lost in the roar of the crowd. For some moments, it seemed as if Kessler might be dropped himself, and it looked like he was ready to stop the fight. Now, Giardello's manager, Tony Ferrante, a Philadelphian, in a 10-gallon hat, shrewdly assumed his boy might be getting the worst of it, because his boy had been giving a little bit. He had been getting a little bit of the worst of it. Ferrari howled his way into the ring and had to be hauled out of it. But by that time, Kessler had made it clear that he was trying only, as he put it later, to restore law and order in the fight. Now, to some extent, he did. The fight was resumed on a slightly reduced scale of savagery, but not until Kessler had primly forced the fighters to shake hands. Now, as they did so, they glowered at each other. Now, until Kessler called a pause, they had been butting each other like buck deer. Even without antlers, they drew blood. It streamed from their foreheads into their eyes. But dramatic though these abrasions looked, none of the cuts were dangerous. Now, at the end, by official decision, it was a draw. After all that, the fight was a draw. And that was enough for Foreman to retain his title. Now, Kessler voted for Giardello to win the fight. You know, he had a vote. One judge voted for Foreman, and the third judge officially called it a draw. Yep. Now, members of the ringside press who were polled voted 12 for Foreman, 1 for a draw. Wow. 13 at press at ringside, 12 for Foreman, 1 for a draw. Now, it was a hard fight to score because so little happened within the rules, right? Very dirty fight. And it was 12,122 people in attendance, and they packed in the Montana State College's beautifully designed field house, a domed and pillarless structure where there seemed to be no bad seats, right? And it resented Foreman's headlong charges and his mauling, brawling style. And the crowd, therefore, cheered for Giardello, the Eastern dude. It was the only sporting gesture of the night, right? And as viewed from the blood-spattered intimacy of the press section, Foreman did win. Because, you know, out of 13 people in the press section, 12 picked Foreman. He landed more to the body. Giardello's head punches were mostly blocked by Foreman's adaptation of Archie Moore's crisscross defense, in which the right arm is extended horizontally across the chin, and the right glove protecting the left side of the jaw, and the right elbow guarding the right side of the jaw. And Giardello threw some spectacular combinations against this guard and scarcely penetrated it at all. Now, on the other hand, Foreman chose to fight inside because of respect for Giardello's long-range punching power. And he persistently barged his way into close quarters, head first, and banged at Giardello's body so painfully that in the middle of the late rounds, Giardello was wincing even before the body punch landed, right? Yeah, so the crowd was for Giardello, but the press at ringside thought Foreman won. The referee thought Giardello won. One judge thought Foreman won, and the third judge called it a draw, right? And after the fight, Giardello, back in the dressing room, he dropped his trunks, right? And he displayed an ugly bruise on his left hip. Wow, so that means Foreman was hitting low a lot. And the cuts on his scarred forehead were forgotten as the people in the dressing room moaned at this evidence of Foreman's viciousness. Still, a punch to the hip is hardly a kind that a fighter would throw in order to disable an opponent, would have went further over toward the middle. Now, Giardello, on the other hand, cost himself points by persistently holding. When he clutched one of Foreman's fists to his side with an elbow, Foreman clouded him with the other fist. And such punches are scores, right? And though he was in the best conditioning of his in-and-out career, Giardello could not match the brute strength of Foreman. He was worn down in the late rounds and won the 15th only because of superhuman effort and because Foreman assumed he was far enough ahead to coach. Giardello was oddly elated for a fella who had just missed winning a championship. Yeah, he knew he had lost. If you were happy about the draw, that means you knew you had lost, right? That's how Navarrete was when he got the draw with Conceição. He was too happy about getting that draw. Well, you do keep your belt, so. And when the draw was announced, Giardello's handlers hoisted him to their shoulders. That's the customary signal of victory, right? They put him on the shoulders because he got a draw. And he was a challenger, so Foreman kept his belt. And he was Giardello was a 3-1 underdog, right? And he had reason to be happy, but not that much. It's just a draw, right? And he said, I declare myself middleweight champion of the NBA. He said in some confusion. If Foreman wants to fight me again, he'll have to come east to do it. And despite Giardello's offer, the chances are that it never happened, right? And former manager, Mary Jo, made it clear that a return ordinarily called for after such a draw was one of the question marks. And Foreman said that Giardello said he hit him with his head one time for spite, but he started it. He did everything. Foreman said that his rough-out style has led to frequent head collisions in the ring. He insisted that the first intentional butt was by Giardello. And he said he heard that Giardello was practicing headbutts in training camp. And it didn't do him any good. The first butt he tried, he said he cut his own eye instead of mine. Yep. And so now let's look at some more modern fights in Montana. Then we're gonna look at some boxing from Montana. Okay. Let's see. Look at some more modern fighters that came out of Montana. Like the guy that was the first cruiserweight champion, Marvin Camel. Yep, they started cruiserweight in the late 70s, and Camel was the first cruiserweight champion, and he's from Montana. Yep, he's from Montana. A little slow today. Yeah, a little slow today. Okay. It is Joey Giardello. There's Foreman. Gene Foreman. There they go again. Okay, that's Marvin Camel right there. Get ready to talk about him. He's half black, half Indian. Yeah. Now, the professional boxing scene has always stirred an exciting atmosphere. And when it buzzed through Western Montana in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, on the glove laces of Roger Ralph, Leroy Romero, and Marvin Camel, the taste was tantalizing. And then when TV arrived with its sideshows to do the fights, the carnival truly was in town. Now, Missoula promoters Elmer Boyce and Phil Benson had landed a deal that lured a production company to the Adams Fieldhouse on the University of Montana campus in May of 1976, right? And the purpose was to showcase the then 25-year-old Marvin Camel, who was under contract to Boris's company and trained in the back of an arcade game store on Woody Street. That was near where the late Spider McCullum once trained Mazzola boxers, including one named Art Saylor, a cousin to forget that. Let's move on. Now, as the story goes, Art Saylor was in toe-to-toe combat with the pugilist from Hamilton on one card and wasn't faring so well. Block those punches, Art, Spider exhorted from ringside corner. You don't see any getting by me, do you? Art retorted. Anyway, the TV's fight card Boris negotiated turned into a pretty big deal. The producers now contracted to syndicate the card to national audiences and participating stations. They hadn't thought beforehand that Camel's fight with one-time Brooklyn prospect Angel Oquendo could carry the show as the main event. Now, Oquendo was probably more known than Camel then, though the Roman native was already decidedly the better boxer. Now, as a result, world middleweight contenders Billy Dynamite Douglas of Columbus, Ohio, and Lonnie Bennett of Los Angeles had been signed, with the winner being put in line for a title shot, right? Now, both boxers were ranked in the top 10 in all middleweight ratings at the time. Douglas was a puncher who could take as well as he could give, right? While Bennett relied on quickness, finesse, and footwork to outscore opponents. Okay. Now, boxing was nationally popular at the time, too, with the likes of Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Joe Frazier, Ernie Shavers, Ken Norton, Roberto Duran, and Marvin Hagler being among the headliners of the time, along with all those 70s Olympians of the era who went on to world fame in titles like Sugar Ray Leonard, Big John Tate, the Spinks Brothers, Leo Randolph, those guys, right? Now let's go on to the boxers from Montana, because we're going to get back to our little history lesson we was going with in the beginning, okay? Let's look at a couple boxers from Montana real quick. Then we're going to talk about a little history again, like we was doing in the beginning, because that was pretty interesting. Montana is long and drawn out. I thought it was going to be a little short thing, but it fooled me, okay? Boxers from Montana. The first one is Marvin Camel. Only got 5 of them. There was a few more, but yeah, 5 was enough. Let's do that. Boxers from Montana. Only 5. How's everybody's Thanksgiving going? Hope it's going well. I'm getting ready to eat in about a half hour. I was getting ready to get a plate when I started, but I didn't want to be smacking in y'all ears and stuff. But I'm gonna wait. Yeah. I ate some string beans with some potatoes mixed up in them, man. They was melting in my mouth. Ate them about 5 up too. I'll get ready to get the whole deal, the whole joint, in about 35 minutes. I hope everybody's enjoying the day. Tomorrow is Big George Foreman profile. Okay, life and career of Big G Foreman. It'll be pretty good. Marvin Camel. Now Marvin is from Ronan, Montana, right? And he's a little brief. He's a former professional boxer, and he competed from 1974 to 1990, 16 years. And like I said, he was the first cruiserweight world champion, right? First, he had the WBC title in 1980. And then when the IBF started their cruiserweight title, he won that from 1983 to 84. First WBC and IBF cruiserweight champion, Marvin Camel. And he had a total of 62 fights during his career. He won 45, lost 13, had 4 draws, and had 21 knockouts. Marvin Camel. number one. Okay, there's Marvin. Half black, half Indian. You don't hear about that combination too much. Half black, half Indian. Wow. Next is Gary Gomez. Gary Gomez. There's Gary. Talk about Gary real quick. I want to get back to this little history thing. Them things was interesting, man. Now, Gary was from Butte, Montana. Butte, B-U-T-T-E, Montana. And Gary competed from 2001 to 2011, 10 years. On December 4th, 2005, Gary won the WBC Continental America's Cruiserweight title. He beat the undefeated champion, Chad Van Sickle. He lost the title to Charles Davis on July 21st, the following year, right? And he had a total of 34 fights. Won 19, lost 13, 2 draws, 7 knockouts. Gary Gomez. Joe Hip is next. The name, Joe Hip. There's Joe Hip. Joe Hip was next. What's up, Joe? Okay. Now, Joe is from Browning, Montana, right? And he's a heavyweight. He was a member of the Blackfeet tribe. He became the first Native American to challenge for the World Heavyweight Boxing Championship on August 19, 1995, when he fought WBA champion Bruce Seldon at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in May 2009, right? And he was inducted into the American Indian Athletic Hall of Fame. Yeah. Was that the night Tupac got killed? I don't know. I know Bruce Seldon was fighting somebody that night. No, I think that was a Tyson fight and Bruce Seldon. Yeah, that wasn't the night. But Joe Hip had a total of 50 fights. He won 43 and lost 7. He had 29 of them was knockout. Joe Hip. Roger Rouse is next. Is Roger Rouse. Roger. Roger is from Anaconda, Montana. week. I'm back. What's up, prize fighter? Salute. Just had some technical difficulties, but we're back. Can y'all hear me? I think so. Somebody give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear me. We're gonna go into these little historical things I was doing at first for to finish things off. Let's go. Where were we? I think y'all can hear me. Yeah, this Wi-Fi, man. I'm gonna have to start stealing Wi-Fi like everybody else does. I'm paying for it and it keeps messing up on me. So, damn. Okay. Let's get this going. Yep. How's everybody's Thanksgiving? Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Okay. Now, where was it? November 15th. Oh, Lord. 59. No. Oh, 1900. Okay. We're going to look at some things that happened in boxing history. We was at November 15th, 1900. Let's continue. We was going over this at the beginning, remember? Let's take a look at it. Okay. Sorry about the technical difficulty. Salute, prize fighter. Good to see you, bro. We was talking about Montana. Okay. I guess y'all can hear me. Okay. Let's continue. Let me get back to where I was at. I was right at 1900, remember? 1901, really. There we go. That's where I was at. Okay, now let's continue this little talk on something ain't looking right here. Okay, this was boxing in the States today. Montana. What's after Montana? I don't know what's next week. I should have looked. But on November 15th, 1901, James J. Jeffries knocked TKO's Gus Rulin in 6 rounds for the heavyweight boxing title in San Francisco, California. Okay. August 14th, 1903, champion James J. Jeffries scores a 10th round TKO win over former champion James J. Corbett in San Francisco, his 6th heavyweight boxing title defense. Ooh, 337. I'm going to put the link in the chat, man. You almost let me forget again. It's time for the link. Put the link in. You know, keep doing this until somebody comes up. Right? Thomas Hill, you didn't even tell me it was link time. You did that to me yesterday, didn't tell me. Okay, get this link in here for y'all. Fine Arnie is in here. Give me 1 second. I'm waiting on 4 o'clock. I am hungry. That food is smelling good. It's calling me. It's saying, Cass, come on in the kitchen. No, I can't come just yet. The food is messing with me, T Hill. It ain't gonna be long now. Just do boxing. I'm not sure. Just do is coming on today. He was in here, so he's probably coming on. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You in here, Just Do? Are you coming on today, bro? when it's Thanksgiving. Give us one of them good cooks. You be good bills. Just you don't cook, he bills. One of them good bills you be doing, bro. I can listen to that while I'm eating my plate. It's gonna be a big one too. There it is. Okay, there's the link for anybody who wants to hit it. Hit it. Like James Brown said, hit it and quit. Hit it and quit, Maceo. Yeah, we was just looking at a little bit of history. There's somebody already. Thomas Hill. Let's see. Now if I can find my cursor, I get you on up here. There it is. Okay. And there's Thomas Hill. What's happening? Hill? I get you in. Yeah, there we go. Kind of coming in kind of static to you. Static.
Static?
Say something again now. I think you got better.
I said I'm on static.
Oh, you okay? You good now?
I had an idiot honk at me for no particular reason, just because he didn't know how to drive.
Say it again.
I said I just had an idiot honk at me just because he don't know how to drive. I'm staying in my lane. This cat, I guess he wanted to merge over, but he wanted to merge over at the last second. I guess I was supposed to speed up for him.
Oh, you talking about those non-drivers out there? Yeah, it's a lot of them. That's why I said no matter how you can drive, you got to watch them other fools out there, man. Yeah. How's your Thanksgiving going so far? Good?
It's busy. I've been out making runs. Yeah, I gotta drop the food off. So
yeah.
What's up? Man, I went from work to cooking, preparing, and woke up early this morning preparing, and now it's time to drop the stuff off. Still got some stuff going. I did 3 turkeys yesterday, man. I smoked 1 and I fried 2.
Yeah.
Fried a Cajun one. I fried the traditional, and I smoked the traditional.
Okay. Oh yeah, because it's what going on 12 out there, right? 1 on 1.
It's 12. It's 12:41.
Right. Yeah. Because I was saying it's late, but no, it's still early out there. Yeah.
It's still early, but it's still late at the same time when you got to get stuff done.
That's true. That is so true. Yep.
Yeah. And unfortunately, you got to partition it between it and work. So at times it just be a little bit cumbersome.
Yeah.
But you got to do what you got to do. Man, how's your Thanksgiving, man? You had me over here dying, man, when you was talking about the food just calling your name, and
man.
I had moments like that.
No, I can't come get it right now.
Hey, yo, I thought when you went off for a second, I was like, oh, he just went on and got him a little snack, a little bite to eat.
No, I had to get something out of the closet, man.
My man over there making sure that grub is Gucci.
I was tempted.
Oh, you was, man. Like I said, I know how it be.
Yeah.
It be like that sometimes for me. Especially when you smell that food and you hungry. Oh, yeah. Man.
That's a bad combination, hungry and smelling food, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, it's like I remember I was visiting my brother in Iowa, man. He had these dogs. And he would make them wait for the food, boy. But he had them like there, they could see the food. And
yeah,
they had to wait, boy. The next thing you know, he had hardwood floor, so you could hear it go. Like the drool was starting to hit the floor because they was salivating for that food.
Damn.
So I know that feeling well. I think even all people can, and all animals, all life forms can relate to that feeling. So I know. It was a good showdown up in the kitchen, and now it's time to throw down.
That's right. Yep, go from the showdown to the throwdown.
Yeah.
What's up, Define Arnie One? How you doing?
How you guys doing?
We're doing okay today. Happy Thanksgiving to you. What time is it down there where you at, Define Arnie?
4:43.
4:43. Oh, you only an hour ahead of me. Damn.
An hour ahead?
I thought you're 4:43. Wow. Because it's 3:43 here. What did you say, 4:43?
Yeah. because of the daylight. What is it called? The daylight saving, something like that.
Yeah.
1 hour ahead or
Mhm.
something.
Yeah. They was talking about all this bad weather today, but it didn't turn out bad at all up here.
Nah, here either. Sky is pretty.
They was talking about rain, snow, and all kinds of stuff. But no.
Snow. Where are you in like the north?
Maryland, yeah, northeast, or going up toward that area in Maryland, right down below Pennsylvania,
Oh,
New Jersey, yeah, over that way, East Coast, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Salute to everybody on the chat. Big Supreme coming up with brain spinning matchups.
Yeah.
And McQueen. That's Thomas Hill, right?
Say it again.
That's Thomas Hill, right?
Yeah, Thomas Hill is up here. Yeah, I was doing something. Excuse me. Yeah, that's Thomas Hill. I'm back now. Yeah, me and you and Thomas Hill. I didn't see Jarrell
That's
here.
T. Everyone is spizzled.
I haven't seen Jarrell Hattie today. He's usually a regular, but he might.
Oh yeah, I like
his
that guy.
Thanksgiving.
That guy, he has something. Jarrell Hattie, I can't tell when he's messing or saying that.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, Jarrell like to play. He liked to play. But he's a loyal supporter, though. I appreciate him. Yeah.
Nah, I like him. So how you doing?
I'm doing okay. Yeah. And you ready for next week? The fun, Arnie?
Oh yeah,
that's the big fight week, right?
Oh yeah. You mean absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't wait actually.
You get to
got
go
that
to the
good
fight.
nervous energy,
Yeah, it'll turn out. Once you get started, it'll be all right. It'll turn out okay. Yeah. Because the Hackett's, they're going to interview the Hackett's, right? They good people. Yeah, father and son, man. Yeah.
Bernard, like you said the other day, you told me his name was Bernard, and I was looking for him. I like him.
Oh, you said about Greg. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was Greg for some reason, and then you said Bernard, and I was like, okay, now we're looking for Bernard. And Greg interviewed Jalil the other day. I saw it too.
Okay.
But they're not related.
Oh, he was on Greg's the other day?
Yeah.
Okay.
GHBTV, something like that. Is
yeah. What y'all think about that Leon Paro and Richard the Hitchens fight, though?
Paro has surprised me before, so
yeah.
I don't know. I think Subriel and even Montana,
Yeah, nobody was expecting that, Subriel.
Well, against the Montana Love fight, after the Steve Sparks fight, I kind of I had a different opinion of him. I thought he was tough, but he showed me that if you come and you match that energy, or you match his fight, he like a chihuahua. He do a lot of noise, but he really don't fight down as hard as you need to keep somebody off of him or to get back. So Paro, I kind of figured he would win that fight. The fight against Subriel, I thought that he would do what he was doing to everybody, and that's eventually break him down, especially to the body. I thought his body work with his close quarter fights, fighting style would wear him down. But man, Paro put on an excellent boxing. I mean, it was still a close fight. Don't get me wrong. It was a fight that I got to give Paro his credit because he pretty much dictated the pace and the temper of the fight. So I gotta shout him out for that because I didn't expect it. But at the same time,
where's he from?
He's from Australia, I believe.
Paro is from the London under,
because he fought in Puerto Rico against Subriel too, right?
Yeah. And, see the thing, man. See, to me, there really is in boxing. There's not like hometown like advantage. You don't have no advantage other than the fact that you got people cheering for you. You still got somebody in that ring that's trying to take your head off.
Yeah, them people can't get in that ring.
So I only. That's why I never really put too much stock in the statement where he went to Australia. Well, man, JoJo Diaz, somebody that people have been having their way with, was willing to go to Australia because they figured he was sauce. And I mean, they didn't figure too wrong, too. Now, don't get me wrong, man. Kambosos is a tough fighter, but, you know, he barely won fights. In some fights, he didn't win at all, but he got credit for it. So, you know, it wasn't like it was some great accomplishment really going all the way out to Australia to go over there and beat somebody you're much better than.
Mm-hmm. We got
but, you know, people,
Supreme up here, too.
Oh, my God, my man, Big Supreme, got my man.
What's up, gentlemen?
Happy Turkey Day to all, man.
How you doing,
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Yeah.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving, man. Happy giving thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Indigenous Day to all the guys.
Happy Indigenous Day, happy Turkey Day, happy whatever the fudge you want to call it day. As long as you together with your
people, McQueen?
Yeah, Anne McQueen.
That's Anne McQueen off the Coquito.
Let me show you let me show
Oh, see, we got show and tell today? Is it show and tell?
Damn Coquito mustache, bro.
Yeah, the Coquito mustache?
To clean that up.
Okay.
Looking like one of those athletes in the 90s, man. They used to do
That was over there handling that Coquito. Coquito.
What's going on, gentlemen?
It is.
Which I was talking about before I came
We
up
was
there.
talking about Paro and
Talking about what you think about the Paro and the Paro and Hitchinson fight.
I like Africa in that fight.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Well,
The reason why I like Africa in that fight because like Anne McQueen knows styles make fights, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Paro fought a dude named Yomo Alamo.
Mm-hmm.
And he got knocked down by him and he won by split decision.
Mm.
Africa stopped that same dude. And 3 rounds faster. So my thing is, if Africa comes prepared, he has all of the tools to actually beat Paro. I feel like Paro's not a Matias. He's not a front foot dominant fighter. He's not gonna come forward like that.
I agree.
He's gonna box with Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if he decides to do that, then I think Africa has a great chance to win. I think he'll win a comfortable decision. And not saying that Paro's not a elite fighter, but Africa has a lot of experience with southpaws too. Yeah, I feel like it's being overlooked. You know, he fought Bowser, Alamo's a southpaw, and he fought my man Zepeda. So I feel like he could deal with Paro. So I think he could win. Now, obviously, you know, this fight with Lemos, he didn't look that good, especially considering how Keyshawn did him.
A lot of people looking at,
Yeah, Keyshawn did Lemos really bad, but like Anne McQueen, remember we did film study on Lemos, and I said I actually backed Africa to stop Lemos. All of the opportunities was there, all the encounters was there.
Yeah, it was.
Like Africa doesn't have the dog to actually, you know, to do what Hitchens did. But with Paro, styles make fights, and I feel like that style favors him, in my opinion.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
My back to that Big Supreme would be that we've seen Paro now fighting different styles, though. That's the only thing.
Now we've seen him fight different styles. Obviously, yeah, you know.
That's the thing. That's the thing that gives me a little bit of pause, a little bit of reservation when it comes to.
Yeah, we don't know what kind of Paro's gonna show up.
Yeah, because that last fight that he fought, like the fight that he had with the dude you mentioned, the fight that he had with Montana Love, and the fight that he had with Matias. He fought. He employed different tactics.
Different tactics, totally.
He definitely did.
And against
dominated with both tactics.
Impressed with him because
when
he fought Matias, he didn't just jab and move. He actually stood in there and he was just moving perpetually, but he was controlling him a lot.
Yeah, he definitely did because we was watching that. He definitely did.
Doing some crafty little.
I might be biased, man.
You see what's the name is in that damn high guard, bro? What's the name is in that high guard? Matias. Paro came in close, split the guard with his head, slipping shots up the middle, slipping shots around. And the one thing with Richards and Hitchens, I don't think it's a matter of him not having a dog. I just think it's his mentality.
Yeah, he's risk averse. He doesn't want to get hit.
Right, that's a good point there. Yeah.
He's just a little too risk averse. I think he's got to take some chances. Like when those opportunities are there, you can't just let the guy off the hook. That was the difference between him and Keyshawn versus Lemos. Lemos presented Keyshawn with the same looks, but Keyshawn took advantage. Yeah. He's coming in, he's winging a big shot, he's squared up, he's wide open, head on the line. Keyshawn just took a step back, straight right hand, right down the pipe.
Mm-hmm.
Lemos had Africa in the same position. He's coming forward, overhand. He's wide open. He's just backing straight up, just probing. Like, nah, you got to let that go, man. You got to let it go.
Who you got winning, OG?
Me?
Yeah.
Hitchens. I think he's gonna outbox him.
We in agreement, OG.
Yeah. I can see him getting a decision out of it. Yeah.
I think he's capable. He's got everything that he needs, man. He's got the skills. He's got the attributes. It's just the mentality.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the only thing that keeps me from being firm in that pick. Yeah, even in the Bowser fight, man, he had Bowser hurt a couple of times, but there were some spots where he could have really, really just stomped on him, and he just let him off the hook.
He did the same thing with Zapata too that I ain't like, because he had Zapata hurt in the last 2-3 rounds, and he just wouldn't take the opportunity.
And if you make a good evasive maneuver where you're able to be elusive and make the guy miss, but then you just look at it and you don't fire anything. It's like, what are you doing?
Right.
You miss and then you step in and tie him up.
Take advantage. Yeah, that's crazy.
You had him out of position. He couldn't defend himself because he's wide open. You got to just let it ride, man. And I think it might have been, I can't remember whose channel it was, but I remember he was training and Coach Calvin was in the gym, Calvin Ford, and he was like, yo, is that Riches and Hitches that I need to see, like the nasty Riches and Hitches, like I need to see that.
Yeah.
That's trouble pulling the trigger, you think?
Yeah, you're right about that, Emma Quinn.
Pull that trigger, man.
I've been watching him training, and he looks really good, bro. Hopefully that mentality changes, because he looked really good. Like the sparring that I seen him doing, I even seen him sparring with some big dude, and he actually hurt him. Like he busted his whole nose open, and they had to stop the sparring. I'm like, that's the Hitches I want to see.
Everything he needs, Big Supreme. He just got to let it go. Yo, Big Supreme, remember Sunset Park?
Yeah.
Riches and Hitches is like Drano on Sunset Park. Remember, Drano had the best jump shot on the team. He could shoot, but he was scared to shoot. Like, bro, you got the best shot on the team. You got to let the shot
let it go.
Oh, you're talking about that basketball movie. I remember.
They had the kid on the team. Bro. He could shoot. Best shooter on the team, but he was scared to shoot.
Right.
How you the best shooter?
That's really the best comparison that you could really give for Africa.
Yeah, that's a
good
one.
Hesitating, nah, let it fly, man. Let it.
Yeah, that's definitely Africa. Like he'll have a bunch of opportunities, like you said, have the opponent out of position, and for some reason and it's funny because in the Zapata fight, I think he had an argument with his corner. I don't know if y'all remember. The corner was like, yo, step on the gas. What's going on? Like, you all right? And then he was going back and forth. He's like, look, I got it. They said, you don't got it because he was clearly hurt. He clearly doesn't want no more. For some reason, like, you're just staring at this dude. And they had an argument about that. I don't know if y'all remember. He was like, look, at my next fight, I'm going to...
See what Keyshawn said recently on Cigar Talk?
What he said?
Hitch's name came up. He said, Africa's a good boxer, but I'm a fighter.
I agree.
Bro.
That is the difference.
He got all the skills he needs. And then you look at his frame at 140. He's a big 140. He damn near like, in terms of like his frame, he damn near look like Thomas Hearns at 140, bro.
Yo, he could be, I think he could go up to 154. But I don't know if
6 feet tall. He got long arms. You know what I'm saying? He got the frame. He got the dimensions.
That's the only thing with Africa, bro. Like,
I
don't know how he's from Brooklyn, bro. What part of Brooklyn you from, Ant? You can hear me, Ant?
Yeah, he just don't really fight with too much anticipation.
Now I asked you if you was from Brooklyn.
No, I'm not from Brooklyn.
I know you from NYC though.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you move like a Harlem, really.
I think in Remo from Brooklyn, Ant.
No, that's where I'm originally from. I live in Staten Island, originally from Harlem, but
yeah,
I don't claim
like
Harlem. I don't claim Harlem for the simple fact that I didn't have my first fist fight out there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Africa don't move like a dude from Brooklyn, bro. Like, I don't know. Like I don't.
Flatbush's own. It's just the risk aversion, man. It's like I think the moment he gets over that, and the crazy thing is it ain't even like he got a bad. It ain't like he got a horrible chin either, because he took some damn good shots in that Lemos fight. You know, Lemos got a nice little punch on him. We seen what he was doing with Lee Selby.
Yeah,
even Lee Selby up. Punches on him too. Zepeda could punch too.
From Argentina, they're either technically A+ or bangers like that. For what I've seen.
I agree 1000%. For whatever reason, a lot of them dudes can punch from Argentina. Another place where they punch at, man, like Nicaragua and Venezuela.
Yeah, anytime I see a boxer from Venezuela, I automatically assume he can punch.
Venezuela, you mean like Edwin Valero? I'm sorry.
Edwin Valero, yeah, hell yeah, him. Yeah. I mean, look at Big Watch Barroso. Barroso from Venezuela.
Yeah.
I thought from Colombia. Okay.
Even Roman Villa's from Venezuela.
Yeah, Villa. That's the name I was trying to think of.
Villa, you're right. I forgot about it.
Yeah,
that's the guy that got CDLs, right?
Nah, them dudes can punch, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Even did y'all see the last Yoannis Celeste fight?
Yeah.
He fought a dude named Johan. This dude was from Venezuela. He had like 33 fights and 32 knockouts. I'm like, yo, what's up with these dudes, man?
Damn.
They could punch over there. I don't know what they got going on over there.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on over there.
I'm gonna jump in the chat, fellas, because I'm driving. No, I'm not really paying attention.
Can anybody explain to me how Brazil has like a million MMA fighters and like 3 boxers only?
Yeah.
You said a million
MMA
explain
to me how Brazil has like a million MMA fighters and I cannot even name 6 boxers from there. Like Roland Joffrey, Acelino Freitas, Robson Conceição, the other guy. I don't know if I even know him.
I think Falco's from there too.
Oh, the guy that fought Morel, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Teixeira too, that fought from their side. Well, yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's a couple, but man.
Yamaguchi Falco is his name.
Yamaguchi Falco, that's his name, exactly. And the guy that fought Oshaki, but I mean, I don't know. But I just feel like they should have like many more. I mean, look at all the fighters that come from Argentina. They're right next to us. We'll see. For
whatever reason, it seems, I guess the number of MMA fighters up there is astronomical because of the prevalence of jiu-jitsu. Yeah. The Gracies and all them dudes, like.
Exactly, yeah. That's more ingrained on their culture than in Acelino Freitas or
Where was Madonna from? Was it Argentina?
Argentina. Yeah.
Argentina, okay.
One of my favorite fighters from Argentina, man, Sergio Martinez, Marvilla. That's my guy.
That's my guy. I love Sergio Martinez.
Yeah.
That's my guy. That to me is one of the few that made the Roy style work. It's just that his frame wasn't that long.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing with him. He was untouchable for a very short time, in my opinion. But he made that Roy type of style work. Another guy from Argentina is Nicolino Loche, bro. That guy.
Oh yeah.
That guy defensively. Oh my.
Yeah. He don't get enough credit for his defense. When they talk about great defense, his name should be one of the tops, man.
Neither does Sergio Martinez, man. Sergio Martinez, like you said, for that brief period, he was like a comet almost. Like his peak, his footwork. I love watching him move.
Yeah,
I just watch his feet when he fights. I don't even watch the punches thrown. I just watch his feet.
Yeah.
And I gained a lot more respect for him too. And I found out that he fought Antonio Margaritas for $900. I said, God damn.
That was
he only paid $900 for that fight.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. I didn't know it. Let me not speak too much on Margarita, but yeah, I watched it. That was before he was a little bit before he was Maravilla though. Like Margarito got ingrained, If you watch that fight, you see he's not, the footwork's not there yet. The pop is not there yet, but
still $900 though. That's,
wow, 900. Wow, man.
So he left with a lot less than that.
Yeah.
After the breakdown, you gotta pay taxes, pay your team, and so on and so forth. You might as well fight for free.
Yeah, pretty much. Damn.
That's true.
You have to pay everybody and everything. 900 ain't gonna
this
go.
is when
That's one thing
Margarito
that
was
people don't realize, all
smoking.
the sacrifices that fighters make, man. I saw Bomac talk about that a lot, and a few other fellas. Like, you see the end result for those who make it, but you have no idea. Like, man, Bam Rodriguez talking about sleeping in the car and what have you, and I'm like, damn.
Well, fellas, we gotta get ready to get out of here. Just happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving to you all. Always a pleasure to speak with you.
Yeah, always.
I gotta check you out, and McQueen, you're a real.
I think Ant dropped off.
Like,
I'm still there.
Oh, he's still there. Yeah, there he goes. Yeah, Ant was corner. Yeah, you haven't checked it out yet.
I'm gonna lie to you, man.
Corner, bro. Like 2 or 3 times I said that I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, you gotta turn your notifications and stuff on, because the Ant might come on at any time.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, Lucas Matisse is another one. Them guys is punching.
Man, Lucas.
Yeah,
that's like a family.
Is he Argentina? Matisse?
Yeah, Lucas. Yeah, the Matisse is from Argentina as well.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it when they said he never won a title.
He was right there, but he was so limited, man. All he had was a punch. It's like like a small Ernie Shaver, so to speak. You know, all he had was that, and it got him pretty far. But man, you gotta have a little more, you know, like.
Yeah, that's true. That's
hell of a career, though.
Yeah, he made it. You know, see, we still talking about it. You know.
You know, the other day you were saying about the punches, and I forgot about it. Like Dangerous, or maybe it was heavyweight. But yeah, I should have mentioned him for sure. Like puncher, scary punchers, you gotta put it.
Yeah.
Mike Dallas Jr. was it? Like that was a scary knockout.
Yeah, you for sure gotta mention him. Yeah. Matisse. Okay, fellas, I gotta get ready to get out of here though. Got a couple things to do. But I appreciate
it. Care, okay?
Yeah, you too, Define Arnie. Be back tomorrow. Big George Foreman. Appreciate you, Aunt McQueen. Appreciate everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Appreciate y'all. I'm thankful for my loyal supporters. We almost up to 300 shows next Wednesday. Next Wednesday is number 300. Wow. But join me tomorrow, because you know, if it's Monday through Friday at 2 p.m., it's the Box Historian, bringing you all of that boxing history. I don't think we're getting Just Do today. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm going to eat and then do some couple other things. But everybody, happy Thanksgiving. Appreciate you spending part of it with me. Hope you enjoyed the show today. And we're going to be back tomorrow with Big George Foreman, okay? Everybody enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving and have a great day. See y'all tomorrow. Oh, salute to Thomas Hill, Define Arnie, Ant McQueen, and Big Supreme, the fire panelists today. And I'm out.